Paul, Cheltenham Festival has come around. You've been sending their runners there for over 20 years now. If you could go back to your first season of sending runners, what would you tell the Paul Nicholls that you know now of the information you know now?
Be patient, really. I think I don't think I had a winner in the first 8 years we had runners there. Obviously just started, that felt like 80 years. It wasn't until 99 we had that amazing week winning the Hardcore Champion Chasing Gold Cup that things started to turn the corner. And I think that probably that first 8 years you're reaching to have a winner at Cheltenham. You probably run horses there you shouldn't, and you sort of look back and think, oh, why did I run that, or why was I running that? But at the time you're enthusiastic, you want to have runners at Cheltenham, you just learn to be patient.
And that patience is borne out into this year. There's other spring festivals to target, and I think that's quite reflective of the squad you're sending to Cheltenham this year. Yeah,
we're going to have plenty to run at Cheltenham this year, but hopefully horses are good enough to be competitive, and at the same time we're saving an awful lot of horses for Aintree that are better suited by Aintree's races, tracks, and I feel that Cheltenham's not suitable for them.
Was it always the plan to step Frodon back up in trip this year for the Gold Cup?
Yeah, it was. He'd won a Cotswold Chase, which is, always has been a bit of a Gold Cup trial at the same course. And then in last year's Ryanair Chase, he was outpaced. We decided that he wanted a trip. That's why we started him off over 3 miles at Cheltenham back in the autumn, which he won, and it's worked out very well.
Looking back over the records, he hasn't actually started favourite for a race since the Pendle Novices Chase in 2017. Why do you think we're still all underestimating?
That's just the way it is, because I don't think, I suppose because he started off in the bottom and worked up. He was never an immediate superstar. He's always just been a workman like horse who's got better and better and keeps on producing the goods. That's just the way it is, he keeps surprising people. Who knows, he might surprise everyone next week.
You had a decision 2 years ago, Ryanair or Gold Cup. You chose Ryanair, it worked out brilliantly. How close were you going for the Gold Cup that year?
Well, Paul, who owns him, Paul Vett, would always wanted to have a runner in the Gold Cup. He's been in racing a long time, and that was his dream, to have runners in the Gold Cup. I didn't think quite then we were quite ready to go over to 3.25 miles and step up to Gold Cup. And I actually felt we could win the Ryanair, so it was the right decision. So then was the right time. Last year we probably should have stepped him up in trip, but we didn't. But we're in the right place now. Is
he a different model to 2 years ago in terms of his profile, in terms of his physicality?
He's just got a bit older, possibly a little bit slower, and more stamina. 3 miles suits him very well. He was very good, in the King George. He won very, very tidily, really, and also at Cheltenham in the autumn.
And we're going back to a track that he loves, with a rider he gets on amazingly well with. He's surely got a great chance.
Yeah, lots of pluses, he's got a great each-way chance, we could easily see him running in a place, if he won everybody'd be surprised, but he keeps on surprising people. I wouldn't be surprised if he won, but realistically you look at it and think he's got a good chance of being placed.
New kid on the block, brave man's game. He drew comparisons with Denman after the Challow. Can he do what Denman couldn't?
Well, I think the only comparison I drew with Denman, but got misquoted as normal, was that he won the Challow, which Denman had won. And of course, then everyone draws their own conclusions on that. But he's gone down the same route as Denman. He's been a good novice hurdler. He won a Grade 1 Challow. Denman, of course, went to Cheltenham and got beat, and ended up being a great staying chaser. And it'd be fantastic if this horse follows him and makes a great staying chaser. He's a good physical model. He's a lovely horse in his own right, and hopefully a very good run.
He's got an amazing temperament from what we've seen in the yard. He seems like he's a grown up already. Is that fair?
Yeah, he is. He's good temperament, which is what you need in a racehorse. I think he's going to get better with another summer, and he strengthens up again. But he's in a good place now. His form's very good this year. Obviously, the first time Soaring Glory just beat him at Chepstow over 2 miles. He learnt a lot that day, and he's unbeaten since, and was very good in the Challow.
Was it always the plan to go straight from the Challow to Cheltenham?
Yeah, well, I think he's had 4 runs. I mean, we could have run him once more, but we didn't need to. I think you're better off very fresh and fit him well, as opposed to having a run and thinking perhaps we ran him too soon. So, he's had 4 good runs, and I think he's in great place. And if we want to, we can follow up at Aintree. He jumps well. He made all the running, I think, pretty well in the Challow, but good and handy. And depending, Harry know what he's doing, I'll leave that to him.
A new horse in the yard this season is the Next Destination. He's got 2 potential options. Where are you leaning?
If we confirm for both races next week, but we'd like to run them in the 3 mile Novice Chase, formerly the RSA. That's always been the plan. If the ground's soft, I'm almost certain to run in that race. That's going to cut up. Obviously, Monkfish looks very, very smart horse, but I've always learnt over the years never be afraid of one in a Novice Chase at Cheltenham.
We hadn't seen him for 920 days before his first run for you. What kind of condition did he arrive in the yard at?
Well, obviously fit and well and healthy, but he'd had issues. He had a front near for tendon injury, got struck into, I believe, at Punchestown, and then he had a pelvic fracture. So he had lots of problems over that time, and it's a bit of a challenge just to get him on the course. But the team had worked hard. We sort of, with a horse like that, you just got to mind how you train them and do things a little bit differently. So we went to Weatherby thinking he'd need the run, and he ran very, very well. And I was dying then to go chasing. Of course, he's ran in 2 Grade 2 chases and won both, and just kept on progressive. And he's a lovely horse to have.
The Warwick win, it must have pleased you on a couple of counts, not least that he backed up his Grade 2 penalty, but he got in a bit of a fight. It made a bit of a man of him.
Well, he's quite lazy and laid back. What he'll do, he'll gallop forever. The ground can't be soft enough, and I don't think the race can be far enough for him, really. There's plenty in the locker. You wouldn't know what he got there. Now, one thing, he'll stay on strong up that hill.
He's a point winner. He was also a top-class novice hurdler as well. Ever the temptation, to keep him hurdling?
No, he's getting older now, and I thought he was always going to be a good staying chaser, and I think that's where his future lies.
Of the other members of the team, who's a bit of a dark horse from the stable going to Cheltenham?
There's a horse called Hoy Gree I quite like, who'd won in O'Toy in the autumn. We bought him in Incarna Sales. We ran him quick enough, really, in the Grade 1 at Chepstow. He was third. Ran a really solid race and very, very testing ground. Had a break after that, and we've done things a little bit differently. I think he's used to our routine, and he worked very nicely this week at Wincanton. I think better ground will suit him. He's got a mark of 1:28, which is fair, and I'm hoping he'll run a big race in the Boodles on the first day.